Hello everyone, this is Brian Bentley at CoinOpTV bringing you gameplay and commentary for Darkest Dungeon on the PC. Darkest Dungeon is a procedurally generated 2D side-scrolling tactical turn-based RPG. Yep, that was easy for me to say. You have different heroes that you can take into the dungeon which you must recruit to your hamlet, so you sort of control this town. And in the town are, different buildings, and we'll get into more of that in a bit. Going into the dungeons themselves, it's sort of this procedurally generated dungeon. You have a quest that you must complete up in the top left-hand corner. And just like there is at the very beginning when you load up the game, there is a warning. Essentially a warning that says, you're going to die a lot, you're going to fail a lot, get ready for it. And believe me, there are tons of times where the game is going to work against you. It doesn't necessarily, I don't want you to turn this off right away and say, I don't know, but let me tell you, there is some serious frustration in this game. And I'm not talking about like the kind of frustration you have during Bloodborne where you sort of learn some lessons and then you move and you go in with the lessons learned and say, okay, I'm going to totally do this now. Sometimes the frustration is just frustration. That doesn't necessarily make this a bad game. I'm so torn on this one, folks. I'm not going to lie, because I really am enjoying the game, and there are a lot of times where I'm kind of at, sitting downstairs, or I'm, laying in bed and I'm thinking about playing this game. But there have been multiple times where the game has really put it to me in a very unpleasant way, and I had to get up and walk away. That's how frustrated I was. So the key is there are really two parts to your team, right? There is the red bar you'll see beneath each person, and that is their hit points, their physical well-being, and then there is the white bar below that, and that is their mental well-being. So you're sort of balancing between how much light you're carrying. So that is marked at the top with a torch, and you can always add more torches to keep it more well lit. So how much light there is tells you, it affects the rest of the game. So if the torch is very low, your crit rate is going to go through the roof. But man, the damage being done to you is going to increase. The enemies are going to get stronger. What it boils down to is everything in this game is risk and reward. Do you risk continuing on so you can finish the quest? Do you pull back? Do you retreat? How much sanity do your characters have for you to persist? How much light do you want to either have or not have in order for you to succeed? Because there are times where I'm like, okay, I'm going to go for it. And it has turned out well, sometimes it hasn't. Now, I'm going to give you full warning. This is a very clean run that I did, and it was just like I recorded and said, okay, it's not like I was searching for a clean run. I happened to get a clean run. I admit that I do, this is a kind of a level 1 quest, and I have a couple level 2 guys in there, but don't let that fool you. There have been times where I've gone on a simple, quote-unquote, a simple quest to grind out some, to grind out a little resolve, which is what you use for XP to make your, make your hero stronger. And I've gotten just completely wiped in these level 1 levels because the game just decides sometimes that it's going to work against you. And that will happen. There are different, you see I just went and opened a chest. There are chests and books and totems and altars. And most of the time, they're bad news. But sometimes the rewards that you get from them are fantastic. Like virtues that will continue on after you've come out of this dungeon. The problem is it can also give you diseases. It can give you, vices. So, you'll do less damage if you're in the cove or if you're in the weald. Or you're unable to see traps, or there's. You won't pray. You won't pray when you're in town. You have to go, to the bar. And so that's another thing. So you have this sanity level of sanity, right? And once you're back in the hamlet and you're not doing the dungeon crawling, you have to balance, you know, your people. So they have so much sanity, and once that is full, then they get like, you know, they kind of go over the edge. And I kind of wish it would have happened here, but once that bar at the bottom, the white bar, fills up the first time, they will be their quote-unquote resolve will be tested. And I would say 1 out of 20 times it works out in your favor. The other 19 times they become fearful, selfish, you know, arrogant. You know, there's all these things, and so then all of a sudden you start losing control of your character, and it works against you. Then when you get back to town, you have to kind of send them to the abbey to pray and, you know, meditate to help bring their sanity back. Or send them to the bar so they can go, you know, to a brothel or gamble or drink their way back into mental health. So there's, I completed this quest, and then that gives them more resolve. Then better resolve becomes, you know, they have more ability to get better weapons, get better skills. You know, so everything in the game is about risk and reward. Are you willing to do what it takes, put your adventures on the line in order to get better and hopefully move forward? Alright folks, I think that is going to wrap it up for me. You can see at the end I got more resolve, but I also got there's some negative connotations than the red, some bonus skills for me in yellow. So yeah, alright, thanks everybody.